Okay, so welcome to another niche video. Now this one is extremely special because I've decided to give away a free gift at the end of this video, and the gift is completely related to the niche that I'm about to show you. So I would strongly urge you to watch the entirety of this video and then claim the freebie at the end, okay? Okay, so I wanted to touch on something before I reveal the niche in this video, and that is saturation. So I see quite a lot of comments on videos and even a few on my videos about niches becoming saturated if YouTubers are recommending them. Now, this is something that it actually makes perfect sense to be concerned about because, you know, if people are giving away these niches just like I do, then one would assume that lots and lots and lots of people are going to flood the market with the exact type of book and therefore it's going to saturate the amount of sales that you can make from them. Okay, so what I will say is for the most part, you don't ever have to worry about saturation in most niches. So I think people's criteria for saturation is if there's lots of books within the same niche. Now, the thing is that what you need to take into consideration here is that a lot of niches are filled with books that people want multiple versions of. So I can give you an example of one of my books. I actually sell a keto cookbook and it's been selling for about a year now. Now, if you search for keto, if you search for keto cookbook, keto book, you're going to find there's an absolute boatload of search results come back for this term. So most people who search for this type of thing, they're going to look at that and go, well, this is saturated, so there's no point in me entering this market. However, the reality with saturated markets, as it were, is that they're saturated or they're filled with lots of books is because they're incredibly popular. For example, the keto diet is incredibly popular, therefore it has lots of books within Amazon for it. However, when there's so much demand to a certain type of book, the chance of you getting visibility and sales are still incredibly high despite this. Now, and when it comes to things like cookbooks, word searches, activity books, coloring books, all kinds of niches, people want multiple options to choose from, and they're going to buy multiple ones as well. These are all consumable items. So once they've taken one, once they've tried, say, 50 recipes from a certain cookbook, or they've gone through a few recipes of a certain cookbook, they're going to want to buy another one, and that next one could be yours. And the same goes for plenty of other niches. Once people finish reading one, they want to move on to the next one. They don't just buy one book and then never buy a book from that niche again. That's not how it works. I have plenty of books in niches, that would definitely be considered saturated by a lot of people. And I do think that people use saturation as an excuse to not ever actually publish books and not ever actually have any success with publishing. But that's not to say that you can go into these competitive markets, make a terrible book and expect to make sales. Now, if you go into a market that is lacking competition but still has traffic going to it, then you can make a bad book and still make sales. I'm not encouraging anyone to make bad books, but if you make a bad book in a competitive market, then you're not going to make sales. And the next thing that we have from there is niching down within niches. So if you generally think that anything that anyone shows on their YouTube channel, like doc marker activity books, for example, if you think that they're saturated now just because a few YouTubers have showed them, I think you need to think again, because there are so many directions that you can take things like dot marker coloring books or any kind of coloring book. You can really niche down. And again, people are going to still want multiple versions of these books. And the next factor that you need to take into consideration is how many people actually watch these videos and then produce content that is related to those videos. So if I'm about to show you this niche in a second, how many people, if 1,000 people watch this video, how many people are gonna, one, go through with actually making a book in this niche? Two, how many people are gonna make a good book in this niche? Three, how many people are gonna copy exactly what other people do? Four, how many people are gonna optimize their listings correctly? Five, how many people are gonna make good covers? 6, how many people are going to niche down? All these factors taken into consideration, you will never have to worry about saturation. Saying that things are saturated is just an excuse for not getting started. So the only area of publishing that I think is saturated is when you're trying to produce a bad quality book in a highly competitive market. Okay, so let's get on with the niche reveal here. So what I'm going to show you here is more so the keyword that I've actually researched in Helium 10. Now I'm only using Helium 10's free searches, so I've not paid for any software to do this whatsoever. But what I'm finding is that there's a good amount of search going to this keyword, this keyword phrase every single month, and it brings back the type of books that we can have interiors made for. Okay, so the niche is boredom busters for adults. So if we take a look at the number of search results here, right off the bat, we can see that there's only 768 search results for boredom busters. Now, what I find so exciting about this niche is that if we come across to Helium 10, again, this is the free, I guess, I don't know, it's not a trial, it's just the free access. You get a few keyword researches every day, so you get 2 out of 3 every single day. And I've typed in boredom busters for adults on the US market, and it brings back 2,000 search results, but it's 2,000 search results every single month. And these top books are all books that we can actually have similar content made for. So it's like word searches, coloring books, etc, etc, etc. Okay, so ultimately what these type of books will be is activity books for adults. However, the great thing that we're doing here, and again, this is for those of you that are concerned about saturation, is you can position your books differently in the marketplace. So ultimately we just be making an activity book for adults, but we'll be positioning it in this for people that are bored. And the great thing about this is, like we've just seen, is that people are actively searching for the keyword phrase that we're going to be positioning our book for, which is boredom busters for adults. So this is another way that you can get found. So you don't have to necessarily make a book that says activity book for adults and have your keywords focused around activity books for the adults, etc, etc, and then try and be found that way. Now, there might be more traffic going to that keyword phrase. However, there is much less competition, I can assure you, for the phrase boredom busters for adults on Amazon. And when people type this in, the type of book that comes back to us is basically activity books. So we've got activity book here, search words here, activity books, interesting stories, which is kind of, I guess, related somewhat. Coloring books, Sudoku, coloring. And this is interesting. We have a boredom busters book for women here, which is making sales with no reviews. So that's a really good sign. Okay, so what type of things can we include inside our book? So bear in mind, ultimately, our book is just going to be an activity book for adults. So the easiest type of things to put inside these type of books are puzzles such as word searches, crosswords, Sudoku puzzles, coloring pages, spot the difference, mazes, word scrambles, and many more simple puzzles that you can either have outsourced or created through paid software. So when it comes to making any sort of activity book, a puzzle book, or anything like that, I would highly recommend against trying to do these things yourself. So with puzzle books, you're going to need around 50 at least to stand out in this type of market. And I just can't imagine the amount of time it would take to create this yourself. Now, if you're gifted in that department with graphic design and you can do that in good time and make high quality interior, then go ahead and do that. But for the most part, a lot of us just can't do that. So that's why we need to outsource and use paid software. Okay, so where would I go to have these books made? Now, for the most part, I'm going to go to Upwork.com. And for me, I would make sure that I put a good amount of coloring images in these type of books. So I would only be looking to pay around $1 per image when it comes to that, and maybe fill the book with around 10 coloring pages. Okay, and the next place that I would go for more puzzles in this book would be puzzlepublishers.com. So here we can make the mazes, we can make the dot to dots, we can make word searches, and we can make mandalas. Now, mandalas are great for adults. They absolutely love doing these and looking at them, coloring them in and whatnot. Now, the unfortunate reality when it comes to creating activity books is that you are probably going to have to put some money into some sort of paid software for them. So I'm not saying you have to use puzzle publishers. If you find somewhere that you prefer, somewhere better, then feel free to obviously use that. But you just need to make sure that if you are having these made online, that you do have the rights to use them in your books. Now, a lot of people will go to free software online, these free word search generators and such, free Sudoku generators and all that, and they're not actually allowed to use them in their books, but they do anyway. So we need to go somewhere where we definitely have the rights to use anything that we generate. So yeah, if anybody knows anywhere else that you can have puzzles and whatnot created, leave a comment for everyone in the section below. Okay, so what I do with these type of books is I'll have them made through the software or through Upwork or whatnot, and then I'll send them to someone else to assemble for me into a PDF file, because I'm absolutely useless at doing that type of thing myself, and it only costs around $5 to have all these put together into a book. So if you don't want to waste time fiddling around with that type of thing and you want someone else to do it, then you can just head to Upwork and find someone to do it for you. Okay, so that's the niche that we've been looking at today, and something that I've been interested in myself. And now I want to move on to the free gift here. And now this is something that I wanted to make after hitting 1,000 subscribers, just as something to give back to anyone that's followed me. And of course, anyone that hasn't followed me and doesn't want to follow me but wants a free gift as well. So what I've done and what I will continue to do for future niches is upload niche companions to Gumroad. So I'm giving this one away absolutely free as a big thank you to everyone. And inside these companion niches, you're going to get a lot of value from this. Okay, like you're not going to just get a few keywords that you can use. I go really into depth with the niche that is in discussion. So this one here is the Boredom Buster companion niche, which again is free. You can just come down to the link in the description, come over to it and name your price. So obviously you can just put in 0.00 here, click on I want this. So you're just going to pop your email address in here, and then you're going to get delivered the niche companion. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is take a quick look at this niche companion, just so you can get an idea what I include. And the purpose of these is to help you out even further with the niche research. So this is really exciting, and I've put a lot of time into this Boredom Busters niche companion. So let's take a quick look at it now. Okay, so what you'll be able to do with the niche companions is you can read them straight away, or you can download them as a PDF, or you can send them to your Kindle. So let's just take a quick look inside the Boredom Buster niche companion. Okay, so with the niche companions here, I go into quite a lot of detail about how you can optimize your sales with this type of niche. So obviously the niche is going to be related to the niche video, and there'll be more of these released when I release new niche videos. Okay, so inside these books, I do a niche intro. I say what type of things we can include inside. I suggest the methods of creation, where we can outsource software, the length of book, suggested prices, different thoughts on how we can position this in the market and cross niche it to make it sell even better. And I even go into covers where I talk about whether I think you should outsource this or whether you can design this yourself. It's all niche dependent. And then I go ahead and I even do sample covers just so you can get an idea of what I would do for this niche. And I talk about the fonts that I use, the colors that I use, the book size that I would go for. And then I just put some random notes in. And then at the very bottom here, I'm going to be including different types of title and subtitle keywords. And these are keywords that I've used and that I've researched from Helium 10, BookBolt, my own findings, Amazon's search bar. And then I take a look at words that you can use for your back-end keywords as well. And then we look at a few closing notes at the end. Okay, so there's a ton of value in here, and it's absolutely free. This one is absolutely free. You do have the option to donate a little bit of money if you want to. Obviously, that's not the point of this video, but the option is there if you think it's worth it. But this one is entirely free. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it can give you some great ideas. But with these, I want you to bear in mind that they are just here to help you get some inspiration, help you put you on the right path with the niche that we're talking about. Okay, so it's not here for anyone to just copy. That's not going to work, unfortunately. But yeah, with the niche companions, you can get some really good ideas. You can take a look at my thoughts into every single niche that I release as well. Okay, so that's it for this video. If you like today's content, then go ahead and subscribe and like and do all those good things. It really helps me out. And as per usual, there will be plenty more on the way soon.